The controversy surrounding Jimmy Kimmel's brief suspension from the air in late 2025 became a significant national debate on the boundaries of free speech in modern American media. Following comments Kimmel made concerning the political fallout and partisan reactions to the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, ABC initially took his late-night program off the air indefinitely. While the First Amendment explicitly protects citizens from censorship by the government, the subsequent actions of the Federal Communications Commission, FCC Chairman Brendan Carr, who publicly threatened ABC's broadcast licenses and affiliates, introduced a direct element of government coercion. This move transformed a private corporate decision into a high-stakes constitutional challenge. The issue quickly centered not on Kimmel's specific words, but on whether a government official could successfully pressure a private company to silence a critic, thereby committing an act of unconstitutional jawboning. Reasons and underlying causes. The reasons for the controversy are rooted in the highly polarized political landscape and the blurring lines between corporate media ownership and government influence. Politicization of late-night comedy. Kimmel, like many late-night hosts, has increasingly engaged in direct, sometimes aggressive, political commentary. His joke and subsequent monologue were seen by critics as crossing a line of sensitivity regarding a recent tragic death, creating a clear target for political retaliation. Government coercion and regulatory threat. The most alarming factor was the involvement of FCC Chairman Carr, using the threat of future regulatory work or license revocation over content decisions, a process known as jawboning, was viewed by many legal and media experts as an improper use of government power to achieve ideological ends. Corporate capitulation under pressure. ABC's parent company, Disney, initially succumbed to pressure from government figures and major affiliate station owners Nexstar and Sinclair, choosing to suspend the show to take the temperature down. This raised fears that large corporations would prioritize commercial interests and regulatory compliance over the principle of free expression when faced with government intimidation. Weaponization of cancel culture accusations. Critics of Kimmel and ABC's initial decision seized on the controversy to highlight perceived hypocrisy regarding cancel culture. They argued that liberals, who often advocate for accountability in speech, should not complain when one of their own faced similar consequences, further deepening the partisan divide on the concept of free speech. Consequences and impact. The fallout from the suspension was immediate and far-reaching, illustrating the critical role of media freedom, rallying cry for free speech. The initial suspension triggered a massive bipartisan backlash. Hundreds of Hollywood figures, civil rights groups like the ACLU, and even some prominent conservative lawmakers publicly defended Kimmel's right to speak. This event provided a rare moment of unity in defending the First Amendment. Record viewership and the Streisand effect. Kimmel's return monologue, where he directly addressed the controversy and criticized the government's actions, achieved record ratings. The attempt to suppress his voice backfired dramatically, using the Streisand effect to amplify his platform and message. Increased scrutiny of media ownership. The actions of affiliate station owners, Nexstar and Sinclair, in initially refusing to air the show, even after ABC reinstated it, brought new scrutiny to the concentration of media ownership and the power private companies hold over content distribution. Revitalization of advocacy groups. The incident spurred immediate political action, including the relaunch of Jane Fonda's McCarthy-era First Amendment Defense Committee, signaling a renewed determination in the creative community to resist government censorship. Prediction and potential solutions. Prediction. Incidents like this are likely to increase in frequency as political polarization continues, and government officials become more adept at leveraging their regulatory power to intimidate critics without direct censorship. The success of the jawboning strategy in temporarily removing a major critic will likely encourage its repeated use against other media outlets. Future free speech battles will increasingly occur in the gray area of private corporate decisions influenced by government threats, rather than in direct constitutional court cases. Potential solutions. Addressing this systemic threat requires a multi-pronged approach. Judicial and regulatory clarity. Free speech advocacy groups must continue to challenge government jawboning aggressively in court, aiming to secure clear judicial rulings that define and prohibit the use of regulatory threats to influence private speech decisions. Corporate resilience. Media companies, particularly large conglomerates like Disney, need to establish and uphold clear internal policies that commit to protecting the editorial independence of their talent, even under intense political or commercial pressure. The cost of capitulation must be viewed as higher than the risk of regulatory backlash. Cross-ideological defense. Citizens and public figures must continue to unite across political lines to defend the principle of free expression. When a threat to free speech is consistently opposed by both liberal and conservative voices, the act of censorship loses its partisan appeal and is revealed as a threat to democracy itself. Ultimately, the right to free speech is not truly debated by the American people. It is a guaranteed right. The debate lies in the methods and morality of those in power who attempt to undermine it.